Fill her up. What about me? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, thanks, James. Oh my gosh. Could have gone all over my laptop, James.
Going on my mind. Is this like Russian roulette?
It's true. Oh, thanks. No, it's fine. It didn't get me.
Hear that? Oh, you're not even
I'm not
listening.
even listening, James.
Ready?
Do it again.
I think it would be really good in a song.
That's cool.
Okay, let's get started, yeah?
Let's do it.
Try not to squeak on the seats. Dad! Yeah? Can you turn off the TV? What? Can you turn off the TV, please? Okay. Thank you. Stop it.
You get it, Rick? All right.
Gracias. Thank you. God, I'm so nervous. Why am I nervous?
Because you're on camera. It's already... Oh, my gosh, James. Hope everyone had a lovely day. Oh. Look at the view outside. Oh, twilight.
Hey.
Hi, everyone,
Welcome.
for another episode
Yeah.
of James and Jess's Half Hour. Whoa!
Woo.
We have some bubbly happening here
Yeah.
with some strawberries. Cheers, James. There you go. Oh. Nice.
So,
Why not? You know, it's Friday.
yeah.
Let your hair down a bit.
So what's been happening, Jess?
Me? Oh, well, glad you asked, James. You never ask me. You actually ask me every week. Okay, I'll let it slide. But, yeah, pretty sleepy. I was telling you before, it's been a rough day, actually, with work.
Yeah.
But no, it's not bad, actually. Like, I like keeping my brain going, and if you had nothing to do, then that would be just as, exhausting. So, either way, happy.
That's good.
What about you, James? How's life been for you this past week?
So today I had a bit of training on vicarious trauma.
Oh my goodness, what in the world's that?
So I work in archives and records management.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just about the fact that when you work in that space, sometimes you can come across records that are a bit difficult to read about certain things. So
like tears on a letter or something.
So
and you have to decipher whether the person loves the other person or not.
Some cases of when you're working on tough stuff like child abuse and all that kind of stuff. So
that's a bit of a negative 10, James. Oh my God, could have been some lovers.
So that was one of the examples that was given to us. And then it was talking about how that can affect you and creep up slowly. So you just really need to be
over time?
Aware. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
When you're reading stuff on a day-to-day basis. So one of the people who she works with, she doesn't work with, but one of the people who she was chatting to online worked on the Bosnian Serbian genocide, so the trials of it, and so having to read all those documents and everything. So it was just basically about having routines, talking about what do we do to de-stress, and
what every single day, so you can have your easy days and then all of a sudden bang, you could be ground zero.
That's kind of what we were talking about, and how we really need to engage and communicate our experiences if something did trigger us with because of confidentiality, it's hard to go to other people when you can't give the specifics.
So
you know,
true.
so you need to. So it's actually a very interesting.
So you went through the files
conversation.
and saw.
We didn't go through the files. We just were talking about obviously the strategies in place, and just to be aware that you can find yourself, being possibly affected by these records and stories of people going through hard times, and just kind of obviously being aware of that and how that's important to stop you from, well, basically to make you be able to process things that are yours and
not to brush it off, to
yeah.
actually digest it.
And then also to separate it. So, to debrief at the end of the day and go, this story is someone's trauma and I'm feeling empathy for that person's story, and they're separate. So it's not mine to carry.
Yeah.
It's just mine to feel.
Because for you, it may not be anything,
Yeah.
but for that person, it could be the entire universe.
Yeah.
So
just
it's separating it.
Yeah. And in order to process it and move on, and what were some techniques that we do for ourselves? So, like, one of the people swims, I do yoga. So we're just talking about.
So that's their daily routine, is it?
Yeah. So just trying to work our topic in.
Nice.
So,
no, well done, James. And here I was. My stress is nothing compared to that. I don't think I really have stress. It's just lack of sleep. Mine is just refinances of home loans and servicing home loans. But that's nothing compared to that, James. But very interesting, actual, career path.
Interesting topic, I thought.
That actually would interest me to actually dabble in.
Yeah, it was,
but you have to have that personality where as soon as you leave that door,
was saying that,
work door, that's
there hasn't been a lot of research into the effects of people who are reading the documentation of, vicarious trauma. So it's the trauma that's indirect. So it's the story that you're receiving from, papers, scribblings, writings of someone, and how that impacts you, because they've gone through the trauma, but often mirroring happens. So
because you're visualizing, isn't it, naturally?
Or you've been through a similar experience, and therefore it affects you. So it was very interesting. It was just an hour little seminar talking about that, and obviously we had different people with different perspectives. So we had a lot of people who were just like,
oh, that's nothing. Come on. My childhood was completely more dramatic. There's always that,
comparison.
You have to be like an empty vessel and just listen. Well, in your case, read the documents, but I mean, not read, but yeah. Well, James, geez Louise. Not bad, though.
What are some routines you have, Jessica?
Well, I need to... It's funny because I have a list here because I was actually trying to think all week what I actually do. I was just like, no, what do you normally do? Like, let's just be specific. Yeah. Normally I get a good night's sleep, but recently I haven't. I think... Well, the thing is, when you're in lockdown, all you do is sleep, yeah? That was what was happening to me. I'd just go outside, do a little bit, sleep, and then you work and all of that. But now recently I've been able to go here, there, and everywhere. I'm like going back to my old ways, but I need to remember to actually just tone it down because I actually got so much accomplished this year by me not just sleeping. I was doing other things, of course, but by just bringing it down a couple of notches. So I need to actually get into that routine again. Yeah. I drink at least 1.5 litres of water. They say to drink more, but I always have at least a litre at my desk. My little blue bottle, pretty sure. I got James a similar bottle when he went to Canada.
And I love it.
Yeah, I was like, what going away present can I get?
Yeah.
And you mentioned a drinking bottle, and I was like, all right. Away to Rebel Sport I go, and I got you a proper drinking bottle.
And I almost left it on the ferry on my way to Vancouver Island.
Remember you messaged me and I was just like, "Don't you dare."
And then a person was just like, "Oh, you've left your water bottle." And I was like, "Oh, Thank you.
I love it when that happens. I sometimes leave jackets all over places, like restaurants and like bars and stuff. I always take my jacket off and I never remember.
Yeah.
Actually, I also, another thing that I do,
So that's a
affirmations.
routine.
Yeah, that is a routine that I need to snap out of. But I say a lot of like affirmations, just positive quotes. I do that for the Instagram page, for my personal page, and for the podcast. But I actually love going through Pinterest and then just being like happy thoughts, happy thought quotes, happiness. It just gets as basic as that. And then something may just click in my head. I'll be like, damn, that's really good. And I post it on my personal feed. But I love doing all that stuff. I used to do the whole, remember when I first got into banking, I did the whole motivational YouTube talks where you have these people, like famous people and all kinds of people from around the world just telling you positive things. I got over that real fast. It's good if you're feeling like a really tough day, but I just love playing my tunes whenever I'm like, that's another routine I do. Play a lot of music. I have a lot of music and I'm very eclectic, so I have a lot of different tunes. Sometimes I have opera, because why not? Pavarotti is Notre Dame. I don't know, it just gets me when I have to like perform at a task or a job or do really well in something. I always put that on and it really sets me off. There you go. What about you, James? What do you do like day to day?
I only just recently this year got into having a skincare routine. I was like, I'm getting older, you start noticing some wrinkles on your face.
What are you talking about?
Under my eyes.
Oh my goodness, James.
And a little bit in my forehead. And I did. So I was just like, what will I do? And I was like, okay, let's, research this, let's get into this. And then I was just like, okay, what works for me? And I was like, okay, let's get some of these products and let's test them out. That's how you've got to do these things.
And you went ham. You bought this gel and that cream and that sunscreen, and it was like a big box, isn't it, when you got it?
So I basically went for a South Korea brand because that's what was recommended online. South Korea is in the
YouTube.
South Korea is leading the world in cosmetics and in the research of it. So I was just like, okay, let's get something from South Korea.
It was actually quite cheap too, isn't it? For you? You found this one brand. What brand is it, James?
It's iUnique.
iUnique. And they do everything from just moisturizers.
So it's like a cleanser and then another cleanser. So one's an oil, one's a water.
So what would you do first, like the oil or?
Yeah, so you use the oil because it will break up like your sunscreens and your final stuff that you used and like just dirt and all the stuff that gets on your skin. Then once you rinse that off, then I usually pump 2 and then do that, break up all the debris, and then use the water one and a water cleanser after it, because you want to make sure that you double cleanse, because if you have too much oil on your skin, it's going to be detrimental.
Yeah.
Then
defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Then I usually finish my shower, clean the rest of my body and stuff, and then I just do a couple of serums. So I've got
just a couple.
Yeah, that's
about
tea
10.
tree.
No.
Tea tree one, and then there's the black snail one. So that one's different, and it's like tight. You can feel like tightening your skin. And then the next one is like a calming kind of gel. So I put that under my eyes and on my forehead. And then next one is a moisturizer. And then the next one is sunscreen.
Yeah.
Because if you're not sunscreening, and you're as pasty as me, it's like, why do you even have a skincare routine? And some days, I will admit, some days, you get a bit lazy. So I'm just like, okay, moisturize, sunscreen. Just cut the...
Sometimes you have to let your skin breathe, yeah?
And I think
It's-
you got to listen to your skin as well, because sometimes, yeah, you need to back off.
It needs to breathe because I noticed with me, I was using a lot of face masks like Neutrogena. Innisfree was another one that's really good. And like the clay mask is my favorite. I love a good clay mask, but I was noticing I was doing it every day because it was calming me down after a shift
Yeah.
or after whatever I'm doing, and I needed to just de-stress. And then I noticed I was getting a lot of pimples, and I'm someone that doesn't get pimples, that never got pimples, and always get them on my nose, and I'd be like, all right. So now I've like stopped myself for like just once a week,
Once a week.
once a solid week.
Yeah.
Because if I do it like once every 2 days, 3 days, I always seem to get pimples. So
Yeah.
no, not worth it. Yeah.
Nice.
What
I'm
about-
trying
what
to
about
think
you,
what other
James?
routines I have. So usually get up in the morning, go for a walk with my mother.
It's good, isn't it? Fresh
Yeah.
air.
Fresh air.
I do the same with my mum.
Yeah. And then we don't have to talk that much as well, which is good. Because like
Yeah, it's
You're
just you're
waking
in
up.
the
yeah. So we talk a bit. Well, I talk more than she talks. She's probably like, James, shut up. This is what I enjoy the walk. And yeah, so I go for a walk because I'm living at home, saving for a house. And yeah, so we go for a walk, finish it, come back. We do a 10-minute ab workout. Then when
Do you
that's
still do
finished,
that Survivor guy? What's his name?
Oh, I do yoga straight after.
Oh, you
yeah.
do yoga. James
Okay.
used to do this free. It was like a free app from this guy that used to be on Survivor, and you do that for 20 minutes. You feel like death, but you feel
I
good
do
like
that.
afterwards.
That's the one.
Yeah, but in the moment, you just want to. No, I did it once. I'm like, James, no, I'd rather just eat. Yeah,
Classic.
it's good.
And then I've been having like breakfast. So I make myself a nice breakfast, relax, have a shower, get ready for work. But there's also some other days when I'm just like, stuff the routine.
It's the vibe. Because I always roll out of bed now like 5 minutes before my shift. But I do one thing. I disconnect from social media 2 hours before I sleep now. I've been doing that for like a solid maybe 2 months.
That's
Because it was
really
getting to a habit. I was just laying in bed till 2 a.m. going, oh my God. And then I feel like shit in the mornings. And I'm not a morning person at all. So I noticed a huge change.
I cut out basically being on my phone before bed.
Yeah, you do actually. I text you sometimes at 10:30 and you don't reply. And I know that's the cutoff date all the time.
It's usually 8:30 these days. Once like COVID, I was just like, no, actually it's 8:30. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna read, and then usually 10 to 8 I'll go brush my teeth and then do my night skincare routine and go.
How long does that take?
My night skincare routine is really simple. I only cleanse in the morning once, have a shower, and then night routine is just some moisturizer and then bed.
Have you noticed a big change?
I will say I feel my skin is better, but it's not good today because the last 2 days I've been lazy.
You notice it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you drink water and you stop and you're like, holy crap,
Yeah,
like my
that too, and
complexion is gone.
Yeah, and I haven't been drinking enough water.
I look
and
like a
I've
mummy.
had 2 Golden Gay times to the 2 previous nights, and then today I was like, oh, a pimple here.
Because you're like, I don't know, your skin is so sensitive, isn't it? So as soon as you start doing what you shouldn't be doing, and when you're doing it, you know you shouldn't be doing it, but you love it.
I actually went to the freezer and I was just like, oh, I really want one. And then I was like, James, you're probably going to break out. And I was like, I'll just have one.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to live a little. It's a huge... It's kind of like spending money. Yeah. It's like, oh, you only live once. And you're like, oh, no, look at my credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically okay.
Do you have a routine when it comes to shopping?
I do.
Do you have like a budget you set? And
I don't have a... I think I can successfully say that Jess has been around the world and bought all that she could. And I didn't think I could reach this state of I have everything now that I need. Because it would used to be like a bottomless pit of need. And then now, because I think when I really started to clean out my wardrobe and whatnot, I was like, I literally don't need half of this rubbish. It's kind of like going to Kmart and you're just like, I'll just get one thing, and then you end up with a trolley's worth of stuff. I don't do that anymore. I don't buy anything. I've even stopped spending money on food. Like just takeout. Like sometimes I'd get like, when I'm in the city, I'd be like, oh, I'll just get a burger. Oh, I'll just get this. I just get that. And then I'd spend like $50. So bad. So I've stopped all of that. Yeah, shopping as well. I once deactivated the Tap and Go Apple Pay. That was a nightmare.
You just kept using it?
Yeah, it's so easy. It's kind of like seeing a drive-through when you're driving on a road and you're just like, oh, and then you have to like turn the other way. I do that now. Like even coming to your house, I was tempted to get like a Happy Meal. And I was like, no, don't do it. Not worth it. Yeah, but I think that's just with age. I think with me, it was a whole, if you told me this 5 years ago, hell no. But I think I just learnt my lesson. And I think especially when you have the mindset of saving for a house, which is what I have currently, the same as James, you automatically start thinking about everything.
You're just like, do I actually need this?
And that's good because when you actually get a house, then you have to pay for it. And then you have to make that minimum payment. I should know, bloody servicing.
But also, like, what I've been thinking about recently is that it's not so much... I don't want to, like, get a big house. Been thinking about this. I was just like, I want something that is, how many rooms do we use in our house that we don't actually use to, like, the full capacity of, like, what it is? I think sometimes it's really like what I really like about small houses and small designs and minimalism is the fact that when you really break it down, it's like,
kind of like that top in the wardrobe. You always go to that one top, but you have a million others. That happens to me all the time.
And then it's just kind of like, how much of my wardrobe do I actually use? Yeah.
So true. That's exactly. It's the memories. It's kind of like a hoarder. It's the memories that are attached to it, and you're just like, I'm never going to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, but I might one day. You never do.
Yeah. And I'm just like, no, my priorities when I get a house is something manageable, not too many rooms. I want probably 2 bedrooms and a nice, moderate-sized kitchen into a, just a dining table, living area all in the one with a small... what do you call it? Like front entry, and that's basically it. I don't want, and then I just would like obviously a deck and a garden.
Nice.
That's it. Like I don't want a lot. I don't want this like landslide size of land because I think at the end of the day,
especially when you grow older, you're just like, I have to cut that.
I just
grass.
think like I think there's a lot in this. In this world of being like, oh, I need this, I need that. And then you look at that house.
This lockdown has really emphasized that.
You look at like some people's house sometimes and I'm just like, this space is not actually used.
But if people like that, all right.
Yeah, that's up to them. But
it's up to them. Some people just love it. It's kind of like luxurious, like,
it's just
a $10,000 chair.
But it's just for show.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just going to go, to the tip? Like, in the end of it, when you've carked it, where's it going to go?
Yeah, so modesty. That's a routine.
Is the best policy.
Yeah, that's a routine I'm trying to live by. Just
that's good.
To be moderate, don't do anything to excess.
Like, and again, I think that's where you have to go to the deep end in order to figure that out. Because some people from the get-go are like that. And then some people just like to just muck around. It's kind of like when you get your first job and you go crazy with that first wage. I remember I went nuts with my first wage. I bought a guitar and I got a box set, Star Wars box set. I remember it cost me like $90. Would have been 18 at the time and I thought it was the best thing ever. I still have it. But I was just like, was that bloody well worth it? The guitar was.
Yeah.
But it's just that thrill.
I think it's always the thrill.
Yeah, always the thrill. You always have that need to buy something and you come home with something. It's probably just going to sit there because it was just the thrill of the chase.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, what other routines do you have, Jess?
Well, I think it's always important to tell yourself that you're doing a good job, no matter what you're doing, whether you have kids or not, whether you have a job or not. It's just, again, like that affirmation of just saying, you know what, you're doing a good thing. And you may not get there before everyone else, but it's just important that you're getting there on your own path, I would say. I have those conversations with myself sometimes when I'm driving. I'm just like, you know what, Jess, it's not arrogance. It's just you're doing a good job.
Doing the best.
You're doing the best that you can, and that's all we can hope for at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What else do I do? I go sit in the garden now because I'm working from home. I love it. I'd also like to go to the city, which is where I normally work. Maybe best of both worlds, I would say. Who knows? We'll see in time. But I go sit in the garden during lunch because I get half an hour.
Yeah.
Or half an hour. Yeah, half an hour. And I just enjoy the sunshine. And that just calms me down naturally. It's amazing what nature can do. I also go for my nature drives and see different places. Can't do much in lockdown, but still. You can go to, instead of the regular pub you go to soon, so true. You can go to another, not pub, I mean cafe.
Yeah.
Or even pub, mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
I like making new stuff. So, like, I also
Like
think
food?
that, like, yeah, in terms of my routine, yes, I've got a routine, but I also don't like to become a slave. I feel like sometimes routine
Like a
is
timetable.
good. Yeah, routine is good, but you also need to be able to be like, you know what, let's mix it up. Like,
it's kind of like traveling. You can go with an itinerary, but when you get there, you have to just go with the flow.
yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'd like to see this. Okay, write it down, but also see where the day takes you. That's the whole point of, instead of, I used to go with an itinerary. I stopped all of that.
Yeah.
I think like 10 years ago, I used to go with a full-on itinerary, and I had each day planned. And after a while, I was like, this is ridiculous. It's just exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's the funny thing, like when you come back, you think of the spontaneous, weird happenings.
I don't really ever go with a itinerary.
Yeah.
I'm the complete, all I have booked is the accommodation and the flight.
Yeah.
And then I just go
with the flow. That's the best way to be.
And like when I went to America, the only thing I had planned was that me and Victoria were meeting up on this day, and then I stuffed that up.
Yeah. That's all right.
But I made it in time, which is good.
Oh, that's so good, James.
Yeah. I got too drunk, lost my phone, and then got woken up by the hostel people being like, you're meant to be checked out.
What is this nuisance?
I was like, oh God, my phone, what's going on?
Especially in a foreign country.
Yeah,
like, oh,
and I was like, can I use your phone? I'm like, I need to call my sister. Like,
what country was this?
One, America, and then I had to use their pay phone.
Nice. Oh, really?
And
that would have been interesting.
Victoria, and she's like, where the hell have you been? I've been calling your phone all morning. Now it's switched off. I'm like, I've lost it last night. She's like, we're leaving here. And I'm like, how am I going to get there? She's like, got money, yeah. And I'm like, I don't have my phone to transfer the money from my phone. We're so dependent on our phones these days.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's fine. She's like, you can use, she's like, I'll pay for it, and then you just transfer me the money using, my phone. And I was like, okay. So
that will do. That'll
basically
do for
what
now.
did. I was able to log in still.
Was it easy to use the payphone?
Yeah, I figured it out after like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was freaking out there. I was like, fuck. And my head's pounding.
Yeah, you would be. It's the stress. Oh my gosh, it's the alcohol.
I was just like, man, you made bad decisions last night. Bad decisions.
You can't always get it right, It's just that thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to party.
Yeah, I partied too hard.
That's good.
It was like my last. I think I knew that that was my last overseas trip for a while. I think it was somewhere inside me. I knew that. And that's why I was like, nope, you do what you want to do. It's your holiday too. Yes, you're meeting up with Victoria, but like you'll just get up tomorrow and you just do it. And obviously I didn't. But I caught up, and then it was just in time because they would just finish lunch as soon as I arrived, and then we got in the car and we drove to Vegas.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
Wow,
and I had to listen to my niece cry for 4 hours.
Oh, really?
On the way to Vegas. She was not happy. She was like, I can smell your alcohol.
I don't want any of that James Walker. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
I think it's also like important to actually track your habits and try and work on them each day.
That's so true. I think that we do have bad habits.
Like we were talking about this before. I'm not a morning person. I can't do mornings. It's just identifying it and then just doing your best to improve yourself. And I found when I actually sleep early, oh, look, I'm not a grumpy person in the morning. I'm therefore a morning person.
I used to be a constant out of habit when it came to text messaging. And
you have to reply right now.
I have to reply right now, and I have to get the answer right there from the person. And if I don't get the answer from there, like, you're so dependent upon all that. That was like out of habit. It was just
kind of like even the type of friends that you keep as well.
But it's just like, how come they haven't replied to me? Like, what, blah, blah, blah. And then I was just like, you would never like this.
It's the energy from the people.
But I was never like that. And then I kind of feel like I picked up someone's bad habit. He who must not be named. And then I became like that. And I was just like, man, they're saying you. That's what I've realized the last few months. I've just realized that energy rubs off on people and you really need to stop. I guess for me.
It's kind of like at 2 a.m. If it doesn't agree with you, it doesn't agree with you.
Yeah.
Don't just go with the flow. Speak up.
Yeah, I think sometimes we are in the habit of like instant gratification, instant responses, instant, messaging back and forth. And then I realize now that actually it's better to leave my phone at, 8:30 so that I can get a really good night's sleep and it's
you come
somewhere
first.
else. Yeah, you do come first. And to realize that, yes, I've got a message, but I'm doing something at the moment. So I'm going to reply back to that person when, you don't need to open it right there and then. That's what I've kind of realized is that you need to take the time for yourself.
Yeah.
Before you even.
Because you're satisfying that other person, but that person really probably doesn't care as much as you do.
That's what I learned. The other person does not care. So you can be a few hours late.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Nah, good chat, James.
Yeah. Is our time up?
Sure.
So.
Is it?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
It just goes like that on James and Jess's half hour, doesn't it, James?
Well,
and we've recorded this again on YouTube, so check us out, James, Jess half hour.
We would love for you to comment, like, subscribe, and
stay tuned for more.
Yeah. Our big 25th's coming up, so I just wanted to mention that. It's going to be a bonanza of an episode.
Here we go.
Do you want to...
No, you go, James. It's your moment to shine. You tell the public.
So we're having my sister back on, Victoria.
It's Victoria Day.
Yeah, and it's going to be Victoria Day. And
so that's 2 weeks' time, yeah?
Yeah.
Lockdown should be properly over.
Yeah. We'll have
be good.
Champagne again, pop, and it'll be good.
It'll be good. All right, stay tuned.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.